Hello there guys, Alchemist here with a new video about a build that I've been using since the other half of Season of the Seraph. As many of you know, Grand Overture has gotten quite a buff as of recently. Being able to confidently put out an intense volley of damage, it could blow through even the sturdiest of enemies. And pairing that with an additional damage boost that you get from Mask of Bakris is what will make this build absolutely insane. Now, one of the stats you will need for this build is Max Resilience. The fragments that we are using in this build make the process much easier. With 2 fragments giving us plus 10 resilience each, we have plus 20 resilience to work with. This means we only need at least 80 resilience in our original stat pool in order to max out our resilience total. Not stress to you guys how amazing having an intrinsic 40% damage reduction is in this game, so we're keeping it as our primary stat to focus. Another stat dump that would make the build run optimally would be to max out our discipline stat. This just makes use of our Dustfield Grenade much more manageable. With the mods that we will be using, we could push our cooldown of our grenades to a few seconds. The rest can go on mobility for your hunter. For our stasis abilities, we will be using Gambler's Dodge as opposed to Marksman's Dodge because it helps us regenerate our melee, which can then be used to defeat more enemies and create more elemental shards for our build. And we'll be using Duskfield Grenade as it's one of our most effective grenades overall for PvE, as it has a huge area of effect and regenerates very quickly if you use the right build. As for the stasis aspects, you got 2 old reliables. Grim Harvest to create stasis crystals, which combined with elemental shards will be considered our stasis wells and will enable us to be charged with light, as well as Touch of Winter to improve our already powerful Duskfield Grenade. This in total will give us 5 fragments to work with. Whisper of Rending will give us more overall effectiveness when using our primary ammo sources when it comes to freezing enemies and destroying crystals. This could be exchanged for something like Whisper of Fissures if you want to run something like double special builds by any chance. Whisper of Durance will provide us with extra slows, meaning we'll have more chances for our Mask of Bakris to get our 10% damage increase towards debuffed targets. This also keeps our Dustfield Grenade and melee slow longer on the field as an added bonus. Whisper of Rhyme is our 3rd fragment that'll be our focus. Every time that we obtain a stasis shard through dealing with the enemies, we will give ourselves instant health regen, as well as an overshield to protect ourselves. This, combined with Whisper of Conduction, allow those shards to return to us, as well as give us a nice plus 10 resilience and plus 10 intellect stat bump. This would be our first resilience stat bump out of the shards. Our second resilience stat bump comes from our last important mod, Whisper of Shards. This fragment improves our recharge rate of our Dustfield grenades each time we shatter a crystal, and with Touch of Winter it gives our Dustfield a small stasis crystal to synergize with. The cooldown reduction is what removes the need for kickstart mods for our armor slot. For the mods, the most important mod overall is going to be Elemental Shards. This mod turns your crystals into the benefit of being stasis elemental walls for your guardians to use as long as your enemies are affected and defeated by stasis. The next mod on our list is Font of Might. This mod will help synergize the stasis primaries that are in play when the builds are in use. It is a 25% damage buff, and you don't have to commit much resources, since shards will be powering your build. Afterwards, we will be playing into our synergies and incorporating Elemental Charge into our build. This mod will convert our wells into charges of light. This makes getting stacks of charge with light extremely easy, which we will use for our next mod. High Energy Fire is another great damage mod for us to take. As well as for our charge with light, we get a boost of damage to our weapons, and we'll have constant uptime while shards start coming back towards us. This is a 20% damage buff for our other weapons aside from our stasis primary, which uses Font of Might. Lastly, Supercharged will allow us to get up to 4 stacks of charge with light, effectively increasing further bonus damage uptime that we have. The weapons in play can be flexible. With the restriction of a stasis weapon and our Grand Overture machine gun, we could use the new Vanguard weapon, the Prolonged Engagement machine gun, to clear our enemies easily. This weapon pairs with the Overload mod in the Season of the Seraph. You could increase the synergy of your build if you pick up a Prolonged Engagement with Headstone, though any damage perk that you can get your hands on would equally be amazing. Disparity is also an amazing option, as it has a combination of Rapid Hit and Headstone or Rapid Hit Frenzy as their god roll options. With crafting, its stability and reload drastically increase as well, and it's also a reliable resource for mid to long range poke. Since we are using Mask of Bakris, it does give us a 10% arc damage boost while in Light Shift, so we definitely have amazing options to choose from. I think that the Forbearance is an amazing special option that we can use. It clears out ads with its Wave Flame archetype and can be used with Unstoppable mods and Weaken Clear to push you even more damage. An alternative to Forbearance, if you're feeling averse into going to raids, is good old Salvager's Salvo. Not the best, but it is an option. The Ikelos SMG in combination with the Stasis Kinetic Special could do wonders, as a potential rolls on such a weapon can make this thing a beast in PvE, and can manage most content with the flexible rolls that it does have. Volt Shot can manage much lower content, but things like Frenzy could deal with much higher content. Lastly, we will be covering the Grand Overture, one of the weapons that got one of the best buffs within the game. It's perfect for deleting champions in most content. You just have to hit targets with your slug launcher to build missiles. These missiles cap out at times 20 and can be used by holding R to change firing modes. You can then decide to tap fire missiles at a volley of 5 each, or you can hold your fire button to unleash the barrage of missiles remaining. The simple strategy goes as this. Basically, you would throw your Duskfield grenade to have your enemies affected by stasis, then you would defeat them, and then afterwards, what you would do is you would collect their shards, become charged with light, and increase with the Font of Might, and continue to slay out with your preferred weapon of choice. Build charges of Grand Overture on bulkier targets on the side, hit your dodge, and then launch a destructive volley against bosses and champions alike. And that concludes the video. I would like to thank you guys for watching. If you can, I would like it if you could subscribe. We are dangerously close to 500 subscribers, which would enable me to do more as a content creator on this platform. We have a lot more stuff coming through. Sorry for the long wait, but with that said, I'd like to thank everyone for watching till the end. Appreciate it. Alchemist out.